A frozen cliff in Norway. February 1943. Midnight. 9 men climb in total darkness. 500 feet of sheer rock. Wind howls, ice cracks beneath their fingers. One slip means death. Their mission: destroy a German facility producing the one material Hitler needs to build his secret weapon. What happens next will decide the course of history. This is the story of a weapon that could have changed everything, but was never used. December 1938. A laboratory in Berlin. 2 German chemists, Otto Hahn and Fritz Strassmann, bombard uranium with neutrons. What happens next changes everything. The uranium atom splits in 2. Energy releases. A chain reaction becomes possible. Nuclear fission, the science that makes atomic bombs work. News of the discovery spreads through the physics world like wildfire. And scientists everywhere understand what this means. Whoever harnesses this power first will hold a weapon capable of leveling entire cities. Germany moves fast. By April 1939, physicists write to the Reich government, urging them to investigate military applications immediately. The message is clear. This could decide the next war. September 1939. Germany invades Poland. World War II begins. That same month, the German Army's Weapons Division gathers the country's top nuclear minds in Berlin. They call themselves the Unwritten, the Uranium Club. The group includes Werner Heisenberg. He won the Nobel Prize in 1932 for his work on quantum mechanics. He is considered one of the greatest theoretical physicists alive. Now he leads Germany's effort to unlock atomic energy. Germany has every advantage. The scientists who discovered fission, uranium supplies from occupied Czechoslovakia, a powerful industrial base, and a 2-year head start on everyone else. At this first meeting, the physicists conclude that atomic bombs can be made, but they warn it will take years, certainly not less than 5. Heisenberg writes 2 technical reports for the Army. He describes how a reactor could work. He explains the explosive potential of uranium-235. But he makes a critical error. He calculates that a bomb would need several tons of enriched uranium. The actual amount is closer to 50 kilograms. His math is off by a factor of nearly 100. This mistake will haunt the program. Meanwhile, the project fractures. Different labs pursue different approaches. There is no central leadership, no unified effort. Scientists compete with each other instead of collaborating. Resources are split between rival teams in Berlin, Leipzig, and Hamburg. The Army wants results, fast results. When the Uranium Club fails to deliver a working reactor within 2 years, military interest fades. The project loses priority. Germany's head start begins to slip away, but the scientists press on. They need one critical ingredient to make their reactor work, and the Allies are about to take it from them. Leipzig, June 23, 1942. In a university laboratory, physicist Robert Doppel inspects Germany's most advanced nuclear experiment, the L4 reactor. 2 aluminum spheres filled with uranium powder and heavy water. A primitive design, but promising. Weeks earlier, the device showed signs of neutron multiplication, the first step toward a chain reaction. Germany's scientists are closer than ever. But something is wrong. Doppel notices blisters forming on the outer shell, a possible leak. He opens the reactor to investigate. Air rushes in. The uranium powder ignites. Flames shoot 6 meters to the ceiling. The burning metal boils the water inside. Pressure builds. The reactor explodes. Superheated uranium particles scatter across the laboratory. The fire spreads. The building is destroyed. It is the first nuclear accident in history. The explosion wipes out months of progress, but worse, it destroys 164 kilograms of heavy water, a substance Germany desperately needs and cannot easily replace. Heavy water slows neutrons in a reactor. Without it, a chain reaction is nearly impossible. And there is only one place in Nazi-controlled Europe that produces it: the Vemork hydroelectric plant, a massive facility built into the cliffs above a river gorge in occupied Norway. Before the war, it produced heavy water as a byproduct of fertilizer manufacturing. Now it is Germany's lifeline. The Allies know this. February 1943, 9 Norwegian commandos parachute onto the frozen Hardangervidda plateau. They land in a blizzard miles from their target. It takes them days to regroup. They have trained for months in Scotland. They have eaten reindeer meat and stomach contents to survive the frozen wilderness. Their mission: destroy the heavy water production cells at Vemork. The plant sits on the edge of a 500-foot cliff. The only bridge is heavily guarded. Minefields surround the approaches from above. The commandos choose the impossible route. They descend into the gorge in the middle of the night. The wind howls. Temperature drops below freezing. They wade across a half-frozen river, slipping on hidden ice beneath the surface. Then they climb. 500 feet of sheer cliff face. In total darkness. In winter. They reach the plant undetected. Cut through a fence. Find a cable tunnel leading inside. At 1 a.m., they enter the basement. A Norwegian guard sees them. They tell him to stay quiet. He does. The heavy water cells are right in front of them. 18 of them. The saboteurs place their charges, light the fuses. They have 30 seconds. They run. The explosion rips through the electrolysis chambers. 500 kilograms of heavy water drain onto the floor. Every commando escapes. Some ski 400 kilometers to Sweden. Others disappear into the mountains. The Germans bring in thousands of soldiers to search. They find no one. The plant is rebuilt. Production resumes within months. So the Allies try again. November 1943. American bombers drop over 700 bombs on Vemork. The plant is wrecked. 22 Norwegian civilians die in the raid. Germany decides to abandon the facility. They will ship the remaining heavy water back to the fatherland. But the Allies are watching. February 20th, 1944. The ferry Hydro crosses Lake Tinn, carrying railcars loaded with barrels of heavy water. Norwegian saboteurs have planted a bomb in the bow. They set the timer to detonate when the ferry reaches the deepest part of the lake. Just before 11 a.m., the explosion tears through the hull. The ferry sinks in 1,400 feet of water. 18 people die. Germany's last major supply of heavy water goes down with them. But the Allies still don't know how far behind the Nazi program has fallen. And they are willing to kill to find out. June 4th, 1942. Berlin. Werner Heisenberg stands before Albert Speer, Hitler's Minister of Armaments. Speer wants to know, can Germany build an atomic bomb? Heisenberg delivers the truth. A bomb cannot be built before 1945. It would require enormous resources. 120,000 workers. Massive industrial capacity. Funding that Germany cannot spare while fighting a war on multiple fronts. Speer listens, he does not argue. The bomb project is effectively downgraded. The Uranium Club will continue research on reactors for power generation. But the dream of a German atomic weapon fades. Total funding for the program, 8 million Reichsmarks. The American Manhattan Project will spend $2 billion, at 1,000 times more. But the Allies don't know any of this. They assume the worst. German scientists discovered fission. German industry is formidable. German physicists are brilliant. Surely they are building a bomb. In 1943, the Americans launched the Alsos mission, a team of soldiers and scientists tasked with one objective: find out how close Germany is to nuclear weapons and stop them. The mission follows Allied armies into Italy, France, and Germany. They interrogate scientists, seize documents, search laboratories. By late 1944, evidence suggests the German program is far behind. But there is no confirmation. And one man still terrifies Allied intelligence: Werner Heisenberg. December 18th, 1944. Zurich, Switzerland. A 42-year-old American sits in a university lecture hall. He wears a suit. He looks like a physics student. He is neither. His name is Mo Berg, a former Major League Baseball catcher who played 15 seasons in the pros. He speaks 10 languages. He reads multiple newspapers every morning, each in a different language. His manager once called him the strangest man ever to play baseball. Now he is a spy for the Office of Strategic Services, the precursor to the CIA. Berg carries a .45 caliber pistol in his jacket, a cyanide capsule in his pocket. His orders are simple: attend Heisenberg's lecture, listen for any indication that Germany is close to building a bomb. If he hears it, shoot Heisenberg where he stands. The lecture hall fills with students and physicists. Berg sits among them, invisible. Heisenberg takes the podium. He lectures on S-matrix theory, abstract physics, particle collisions, nothing about weapons, nothing about uranium. Berg watches, listens. His hand never moves toward his jacket. After the talk, a Swiss physicist invites Berg to a dinner party. Heisenberg is there. The two men eat together, make small talk. Berg studies him across the table. Later that night, Berg walks Heisenberg back to his hotel. The two men stroll through the winter streets of Zurich, chatting casually. Berg could pull his pistol at any moment. He doesn't. Berg reports back to his superiors. No evidence of a German bomb. Heisenberg seems defeated, despondent. The war is lost, and he knows it. The spy walks away, but the war isn't over, and the Alsos mission still needs to find the reactor before the Soviets do. April 1945. Germany is collapsing. American forces race through the south. They are not just chasing the retreating Wehrmacht. They are hunting scientists, uranium, documents, anything related to the Nazi nuclear program. And they are racing the Soviets. Colonel Boris Pasch leads the Alsos team into the town of Haigerloch on April 22nd. The Germans surrender without a fight. White sheets hang from the windows. Pasch finds a bolted door carved into a cliff behind a church. His men blast it open. Inside, a cave. And in that cave, Germany's final nuclear experiment. A cylinder made of graphite blocks, heavy water tanks at the end of the tunnel, and suspended inside the reactor, 664 cubes of uranium. The B8 experiment. Heisenberg's last attempt at a chain reaction. It never worked. The reactor was too small. Later calculations show it would have needed to be 50% larger just to go critical. Germany never had enough uranium or heavy water to make it happen. Pasch stares at the crude machine. Later, the mission's chief scientist will write, "It was so obvious the whole German uranium setup was on a ludicrously small scale. Here was the central group of laboratories, and all it amounted to was a little cave, a wing of a small textile factory, a few rooms in an old brewery. The Americans dismantled the reactor within 24 hours. They find documents sealed in a drum, buried in a cesspool, 3 barrels of heavy water, and 1.5 tons of uranium hidden in a nearby field. They capture 25 German scientists. Heisenberg is not among them. He fled to Bavaria a week earlier. Posch tracks him down and takes him into custody on May 3rd. 10 of Germany's top nuclear physicists are flown to England. They are held at Farm Hall, a country estate outside Cambridge. The rooms are comfortable. The gardens are beautiful. The walls are bugged. Every conversation recorded. For 6 months, the scientists live in captivity. They play chess, tend the garden, discuss physics. They have no idea British intelligence is listening. August 6, 1945. A British officer gathers the scientists in the drawing room. He tells them the news. The United States has dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan. The Germans are stunned, silent. Heisenberg's first words: "I don't believe a word of the whole thing." Otto Hahn, the man who discovered fission 7 years earlier, collapses into despair. He blames himself for the deaths of tens of thousands. The others have to watch him carefully through the night. The recordings capture hours of arguments. How did the Americans do it? How much uranium did they use? Why didn't we see this coming? Heisenberg tries to calculate the bomb's design on the spot. He guesses the Americans used tons of uranium. He is still wrong. One scientist says quietly, "I thank God we didn't succeed." Another replies, "If we had wanted Germany to win the war, we would have succeeded." The 10 scientists were released 6 months later. None of them ever built a nuclear weapon.